Hey everybody, Darren here. Welcome back. It's been a little while since I last posted, but we are now back in Italy, thankfully. So as you can see, we are also at our house. As I promised in my last video, I would do a in-person tour, a real tour, once we're able to actually be there in person. So here we are. This is the little village that we're in. That is the tiny little car that we came in because car prices are astronomically expensive right now. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do the tour. All right, we're now coming up on the front of the house. So as if you watched the last video, it's set up on 3 floors. We're actually entering on the middle floor. One fun thing that I showed last time is also the date presumably that it was built. So this is 1680 something or other. So let's head in. So the last time that I saw this, it was full of stuff. Thankfully, the seller actually went and cleared it out. So it actually looks pretty good right now. So this will be our living room. So we have a nice little fireplace here, which will obviously get restored. We'll probably put a wood burning fire in here, probably something self-contained. So it'll be a nice place to sit, especially on some of the cooler fall days and winter days when we come up. As you can see, it needs a ton of work. We're not sure if we're gonna be able to save the ceiling here, the floor of the top floor. There's been quite a lot of water damage, so we'll see about that. So this is the balcony, which I should be able to open up. So this will give you a little bit of the view. I'll share more of that in a bit, but this is, as you can see, one of the big reasons why we bought this place. So we'll have a nice little terrace here, put in some wrought iron railings and such, so a nice place to sit and have some coffee. So coming back inside, now going into the next room. So this will probably be a bit of a study, maybe have a TV in here. This back wall here, we're probably gonna put the second bathroom. So probably be a fairly small bathroom with a shower and such. This is the kind of gnarly looking stairs to the top floor. I'm gonna save that for last because that's kind of the funnest part of the tour, as we'll see in a bit. So this is the stairs down to the lowest level. So let's head down here. Be very careful because there's wires everywhere and this thing and big nails and whatever that is. All right, now this is going to be the utility room. So that's a pretty big rock there, which is presumably part of the foundation. This will be where our water heater is and whatever other utility things, probably washer, dryer, and so on. Stays nice and cool though, which is great. It's pretty hot out. So now if we head out here, this is going into what will be most likely our kitchen. So this back wall here is below the level that we were just up. So we'll probably have to, I think it's called tanking. So we'll probably have to put a wall, which is a shame because it's an amazing stone wall. But if we're not careful, there's a lot of humidity issues. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if you look up here, you can see it's all very green. So when we were here in the fall, this whole wall was actually fairly wet. So your options are really to either dig a trench outside and put in water protection there, or to build a wall in front of this. We've heard that doing the tanking outside can be pretty risky for the foundation, so probably not gonna do that. So now if we take a look, this is actually a pretty decent sized room. So this will be both our kitchen and our dining room. Have a door out here. You can see the neighbors outside. And then, so as you can see here, the prior owner actually did quite a lot of work in this. So you can see some of these things are the concrete here. A lot of them are steel beams that have been put in. You can see more of that here. This entire ceiling also has been essentially redone and restored. So even though some of these wood beams might look a little bit scary. They're actually not supporting the ceiling anymore, apparently. The entire floor above us has reinforced concrete, so steel rebar and so on. A lot of this work has been done for seismic reasons. We're in a very seismically active area, so you need to reinforce a lot of portals. We're hoping that all of this was done up to code, because if it's not, that's going to be a pretty big problem, and we'll have to redo it, and it could cost us a lot of money. So we shall see. There's also been some work done. This floor here is concrete. There's been some work done with piping. I'm gonna guess we're probably gonna have to rip a lot of that up, which will be unfortunate and expensive, but that's what you get with some of these things. This out here, we might turn into like a little breakfast nook or maybe a little garden. It's pretty small. It's a little bit more dry. As you can see, the grounds need quite a lot of work. You'll see more of that in a little bit. That about does it for the kitchen area, kitchen and dining. One thing we'll definitely do out here is put in some big, probably French style doors, maybe wrought iron. So you make sure you have this view, which I'm just going to tease you a little bit. I'll show more of that in a little bit. So this next room here will probably be more of a dining room, could be a study. Not quite sure what we want to do with this. It's not a terribly large room. In our last video, I was joking about maybe turning this into a bathroom and having a soaking tub right here in front of the window. That probably is a little bit excessive and maybe not quite in keeping with the rustic style of the building. You can see more of the reinforcing here. So again, hopefully all this is done up to code, and a lot of this was done about 15 years ago or so. So, you know, we'll see. Might have been done to code then, but not as much now. As you can see, the stairs also is all new. So we'll see how much of that is we're able to maintain. That's about it for the lowest floor. Let's go up and I'll show you the bedrooms, which is where you get a real sense of the kind of shape that this building's in. So again, I gotta watch my head a lot. One just thing I want to share is just, you know, not to kind of harp on the view, but you know, through every single window you get just this amazing view. Pirate Cellar did leave us some various things. Not sure if any of them are actually going to be useful. This sink might not be too bad, so we'll see. Pretty sure my wife hates it, so my guess is it won't be sticking around. All right, let's head up to the stairs to the funnest part of the building. So obviously these inspire a lot of confidence, so I'm going to take these a little bit carefully. All right, so this is the top floor now. So this part doesn't look too bad. What we're probably going to do here is have a bedroom in this space. It's probably going to look a little smaller on the video than it actually feels in person, but this is actually a fairly decent sized space. And this back corner here, so this wall that you're seeing now is where we came in, where the car is parked, but we'll probably have a bathroom here. We've talked about having an ensuite, but you know, we're not super keen on that because we have to sort of readjust the size of the spacing and so on. We spent a little bit of time earlier today essentially just mapping out maybe the size of the bathroom, sort of laying these things out. We want a nice, decent sized shower, so this might be a bit excessive. But this back wall would be a shower and have a shower glass and so on. And you know, we've always lived in cities, so you know, the idea of having a window in your bathroom is something pretty foreign to us, but it'll be pretty fun, especially when this gets cleared out. You can't see it too well. There is a nice view of the valley. Yeah, it's a little bright out, but hopefully it gives you an idea. All right, now for the funnest part of the tour, just to give you a sense of how much work is actually remaining on this building. This will be the master bedroom. So as you can see, quite a lot of damage, a lot of water damage. It was a really rainy winter, so a lot of the rain that's coming in through the roof has caused this damage. So when we were here last year as probably about half this bad. I'd say that, this beam, for example, was still attached. It was definitely looking pretty sad, but it has since really started to come down. But this room itself is still pretty big. So if I try to take a step back here in the corner, this doesn't give you a great sense of the space, but this will be quite a nice master bedroom. We'll probably also use this as a little bit of a study and a reading space and so on. Of course, if I head over to the window, of course we have that nice view as well. Great thing about being a little bit exposed like this too is, although it does get fairly hot, we do get a really nice breeze. So even though it's got a decent amount of sun exposure, we do get a nice breeze, and open up both of these windows and probably get a nice cross breeze. I do want to show you this though, because it's kind of fun and scary. Hopefully this video doesn't turn into something an example of what you shouldn't do. But you can see the roof up here. So pretty bad shape. So yeah, the challenge is that a lot of the water that probably caused this damage has been leaking through into this floor. So I'm gonna guess that we're not gonna be able to save it, but it would be great if we can. We'll definitely have a new roof here. The nice thing about all of this is, even though it looks pretty scary, and it certainly is, all this is going to be gone. So even if it looked pretty decent, we wouldn't be maintaining it anyway. One of the things we found with a lot of the houses that we looked at is that oftentimes things might look pretty good, but when you start getting into the walls, you start getting to the roof and so on, you realize that it's actually pretty bad. So you end up having to replace it. So we're talking with one person, and they said that the nice thing about this house is that it's a very honest house. You can pretty much see all the problems with it. Nobody's tried to cover it up or paint it over. Everything is really just exposed. So the hope is that, we really get to see the worst of it. So this will be pretty nice, because it'll have a view all the way up to the new roof with exposed wooden beams and everything. And that's about it for the tour. So obviously a lot of work ahead of us. Still is a pretty significant mess, but hopefully you can see a little bit of the promise that we see in it. And this is the one last thing that I'll do is again show you some of the view, because you can get one that's a little more unimpeded. There we go. Yeah. It's also really quiet too. Through the magic of editing, I'm now standing out front. I want to show you a little bit of the grounds of the building. So if we just come down here, take some stairs. So the previous seller actually did a pretty good job maintaining this, but once he sold it, obviously, he stopped having his people come by and keep it clean. So we need to hire somebody to come and do some, basically just chopping things back so it doesn't get too crazy and look too bad. One really fun thing that we love about this place is this particular herb here. I don't know if you can see that particularly well. I'll have to find the name of it, but it's a member of the mint family. So as you walk around here, you get this very strong smell of mint. It's kind of a combination of mint and oregano. It's one of our favorite things about this location. The bees really love it, so I don't know if you can see all of them flying around here, but there's just tons of bumblebees. See, this entire area is just kind of buzzing. So now if you come out here, this will be the terrace. You can see my wife up here, already enjoying the view. Hey, Annie. So this will obviously become a terrace. Probably do a lot of grilling here. And just sit and enjoy this view. show you the next fun part of our tour, which is I'm going to take you to our barn. So another neat thing about this is that the previous seller planted a number of fruit trees and so on. So this is a tree that bears something. I forget actually what it was. One of them up here is a pomegranate tree. I don't actually remember which one. Remember when we were here last year, it actually had some pomegranates on it. Yeah, it's this one here. So looks like we're probably a little too early for it. There's a pomegranate right there. So I'll be harvesting any of this strip. And this is the barn that I was mentioning. So this will be a project for probably a much later date, but there's some neat potential here. So you can see some of the old carving, which is really nicely done. I won't go into this door because it basically will probably just collapse in on me. So we're gonna take a peek into the side. So then into the barn. You can't really get too far in, but it is even more of a mess than the house. But it's pretty decent size. So we can get in a little more so you can get a better sight of it. It's nice and cool, which is great. So even though it's pretty warm outside, you know, the stone really acts as a barrier to the heat. It soaks it up very slowly and then releases it over the evening. So you have cooler interiors during the day and some nice warmth in the evening. But so as you can see, it's pretty bright outside. A little hesitant to get too far in because it's pretty messed up, but you get a sense of it. And that's about it for the house tour. Want to wave goodbye, honey?
Adios.
Bye, everybody.